What is up, guys? It's Ozzy here. As you can probably tell from the video title, this is my Daredevil Season 2 review. Overall, this season was really, really cool. There's a lot of cool things added in. Lots of really cool storylines, which I really, really, really liked. And I'm sorry this is coming a little bit late. I've been done watching this season for, I think, like 2 weeks now, but I just didn't really have a lot of time to make my review. But I'm actually sick today, so I have tons of time. So here's my review. And first off, I'm going to start with the characters in the show. So Charlie Cox, who plays Matt Murdock with Daredevil, once again he did amazing. He's an amazing, amazing Daredevil. Like this guy, I don't know. Every time I watch him, I just buy into everything that he does as Daredevil. Like I don't think there's like a lot of characters that I can do that with, but for sure this guy as Daredevil and Matt Murdock, he just absolutely kills it. Um, so yeah, he's really really deep once again. Like he's dealing with the same issue of killing people or not killing people. He's also kind of slowly telling more people about his identity, which one of them is another character, main character in the show, and I'll get to that after. But yeah, I just really liked it. And then he had to find the balance between being Daredevil and being Matt Murdock, and that kind of suffers with his relationship with Foggy and Karen, and then they don't trust him, and then their law firm kind of like breaks apart. So yeah, there's a huge, huge dilemma for him, and and then like he's just got so much stuff going on in his life, and it's just super hard for him to kind of balance them all. Like you can totally tell, like halfway through the season, his Daredevil side's like up here, and his like normal side's like about here, and then he's trying to weigh them, and he just can't do it. And a lot of people get mad at him for that. So yeah, I just really like that and how he has that dilemma in his life, and he's not just like a famous superhero like Captain America, just puts on the suit, runs around, people love him. He has to really balance himself, which I really like. And yeah, the action with Daredevil in this season two, is phenomenal. Season one, that one scene where they're fighting in that kind of like hallway, that was unreal. And he basically does, I would say, equal battle to that on the stairs. And I think like episode three, that fight scene was just unreal. It was awesome, and I loved every second of it. Yeah, so overall, Charlie Cox as Daredevil and Matt Murdock killed it again, and I can't wait for season three. So John Bernthal as Frank Castle in The Punisher was just absolutely amazing. Like I loved everything in this season when it had Frank Castle in it because he's such a strong character. He's got such an amazing backstory. Like man, if you guys watched it already, having your entire family murdered, you shot in the head, and then waking up like that, honestly, if you just say it, it doesn't sound like that crazy, I don't think. But if you actually see him and how he kind of reacts and like comes back to reality with knowing that and have seen that, and no one believes him and no one does any justice for him, like you almost kind of agree with what he's doing of shooting up all these gangs, killing all these criminals and stuff. It's just such an amazing story, and it was handled so good with this actor. And man, this guy is violent. Like, wow. In episode, I think like around 10 or something like that, he's in jail, and he gets set up by Wilson Fisk, and it's basically him versus like 20 like inmates there. And honestly, I didn't think he was gonna make it out without quite a bit of like beating marks all over him. I don't know what beating marks means, but yeah, like 1 versus 20, and this guy just murdered all of them. Like it was ridiculous. I didn't even think they were allowed to do this for like a 14A TV show. He's stabbing people, he's cutting people, he's oh, sheesh, that was violent. but violent in a good way. So, anyways, yeah, this guy just killed it as Punisher, and we finally did justice to that character. He's been the Punisher character has been in a movie done in like the early 2000s or something, and I watched it and it wasn't that amazing. Um, a lot of people are complaining that he doesn't have his skull on his like jacket or shirt or whatever, but he does get it eventually in the season, so that's good. So when he comes back in maybe like season three or whatever, he'll have it and he'll be well established by then. So yeah, I just really love this character. I loved all of his little story elements all over the show. Like it would go from Daredevil and then add some Punisher, and it was awesome. It was basically a Daredevil Punisher kind of crossover season, which was just phenomenal. Okay, so I don't know if I'm pronouncing this right or not, but the actor that plays Elektra is Elodie Young. I'm not too sure if my pronunciation is spot on with that name, but anyways, she was pretty good in this season. Like I liked how she just randomly kind of shows up in Matt's kind of apartment, and it's just kind of like, oh hey, how's it going? Like it was super weird because like we've had no backstory about Elektra or anything, but the story kind of shows in a lot of flashbacks in the next like 5, 7 episodes or something like that. And I do like their backstory. A lot of people don't really like her and thought the backstory was kind of weird and kind of pushed into the show, but I think it fit in pretty nicely. Yeah, I just really like how they're showing all these new elements, especially Elektra, because that's a huge, huge storyline in Daredevil comics and so on. So it's great to see her in the season. Um, yeah, so the backstory is based off of their kind of like love for each other in college, and I like that. It was pretty interesting. They had some great moments together, I guess. Except the reason why they kind of like broke up was because Matt was faced again with that question of like, do I kill or do I not kill? And she was totally going for Matt to go and kill people to serve justice, but in a dark way. So she gathered up the guy, or she found the guy that killed Matt's father, and basically tied him down to a chair and told Matt to kill him with a knife. So he was faced with a huge problem. He was tempted to do this, and he obviously didn't, and that's why she left and then comes back later on in the season. But I like how he's always constantly being questioned: do I kill or do I not kill? It's just a huge dilemma, even for like us nowadays, like in the military and stuff, and all this kind of stuff, like capital punishment and all that. But yeah, it's great to see that like real problems in a comic book kind of TV show, and I really like it. That's why I really like Daredevil. But back to Elektra, so she kind of comes back and then like kind of reminds him of how much like uh, good memories they've had together, basically. So like fighting together and being on the run and so on. So she kind of like leads him to follow her and stuff like that. And it's just a really cool story to have. And on top of that, Matt's kind of dating Karen Page, and now he's got like two girlfriends, and it's kind of hard for him once again to balance things because like he's basically dating Karen Page, and his old love comes in, reminds him all the good stuff, and then it's kind of like all over the place again. But yeah, overall, I did like Elektra. She was, I think she was a pretty decent character. Like I wouldn't say she was amazing like the Punisher, but she was pretty good. It's great to see another female role in the Marvel kind of universe, which is going to be really cool. And I really hope she comes back in season three because she was really good. This is my overall opinions of the Daredevil season two TV show. So overall, I really liked it. There's tons of cool stories. But first, I want to talk about Daredevil's kind of identity and who he's telling and stuff. So at the end of the season, he finally tells Karen Page that he's Daredevil. It was done in a kind of dramatic way, I guess. He kind of just says it, and then the scene just cuts right there. So I'm guessing the beginning of season three is going to be like how she deals with that. Like, oh, my kind of boyfriend, I guess, is this guy that's kind of running around beating up people at night. So that's gonna be a really cool story in season three. But yeah, I like how he finally told her. Um, yeah, there's just so many awesome little stories in here. Like we have the Punisher story, we have Daredevil story, we have Elektra story, we have the bad guys in the season, which are the Hand, which is a group of ninjas, and they worship in the comic books. They worship a villain called the Beast, which is basically like a demon kind of person. And in this season, it's they worship a thing called the Black Sky, which is Elektra is what I kind of got out of the season. Like she was kind of like a lost member of the Hand, and they were looking for her, and she's like the key or something. I hope they kind of elaborate on that on season three because at the end of season two, she was placed into this kind of like chamber thing, and I'm pretty sure she's gonna get brought back to life because if they don't, then that would be such a weird random scene. So they're obviously gonna bring her back. And that's going to be another cool storyline in season three or four. How Daredevil's going to be like, oh, my dead ex girlfriend is back. And yeah, that's just going to be a really cool story. But yeah. So overall, the characters that were added into the season, like season one was basically just setting up the ground for Daredevil, like that universe, like a street level hero that not a lot of people know about, and it was just kind of to introduce him as a hero. But in season two, they just kind of went from Daredevil and just like boom, blew it up to like a ton of Marvel street level heroes and Daredevil characters. So we got Punisher, we got Elektra, we got more Stick, we got the Hand, we got all these awesome characters. We got like bike gangs and all these things, which was really really cool, and I really like that how they're expanding the universe. So now they don't just deal with like drugs and criminals and whatever. They're dealing with like supernatural things. They're dealing with psycho kind of killer heroes that are once again facing him with the dilemma of killing or not killing. Um, yeah, the action once again was just awesome. It's super gory. I'd say probably more than the first season for sure, just because of Punisher being in it and he's blowing people's heads off and stuff like no tomorrow. But it was fun to watch. Um, yeah, Elektra once again, she was all right. Stick is a badass. He is just every time he's in it, he just does something either stupid or awesome, and it's just awesome to watch. Um, so yeah, that's pretty much all I can say. You have to watch this show. Like, if you are a Marvel fan or superhero fan in general, this superhero, well, not superhero, I guess, this hero, he's really cool. He's a really complex character. It's a really dark tone compared to Marvel movies like the Avengers and all those other movies. But I really like that because it really feels real. And there's tons of Easter eggs in this show. Like Karen, she goes into the kind of news building, and all around you can just see like Battle of New York. You can see like Tony Stark's like building on like they're framing like newspapers, and it's got all these Easter eggs on them, which is awesome. And yeah, they always reference like Battle of New York and stuff like that, and I really like that because it really makes you feel like they're kind of like so like here's where the superhero movie stuff is, and then here's where like the TV characters are. Like they see what's happening, but they're kind of like in the shadows, and I really like that. And for Infinity War, I don't know if you guys know, but it's rumored that a lot of the TV show characters are going to be in that movie. And it would be awesome to see Daredevil like on the screen with Iron Man and stuff. That would be just awesome. Like, wow. And Punisher too, if he could go in there. And Jessica Jones, I don't think will be because that's not really like a well-known character. Um, Maybe Luke Cage or something. Maybe Iron Fist. That'd be really, really, really cool. Yeah, so I really hope they do that. And I cannot wait for season three because their universe basically just exploded as so many possibilities. Wilson Fisk is basically breaking out of prison soon or getting out legally, who knows. Um, but yeah, when he came back in this season, like I honestly did not expect it. All you see is Frank Castle just kind of goes into the gym at the jail, and all you see is like someone bench pressing, like you can't see who. All you see is the weights, and you see like 545s or something, and this guy's just kind of like throwing them. And then once the weight gets racked back on, all you see is this huge guy. And then I lost it. I was like, holy shit, Wilson Fisk is back. No way. And then he manipulates Frank Castle. And yeah, that was another great storyline. But yeah, Foggy in the show, he was all right. We got to really see his lawyer side, which I liked. And he almost won the Frank Castle case, which is when Frank Castle goes on trial for all the murders that he's kind of made happen. So yeah, it was really cool to see Foggy on that lawyer side, and how kind of like mad he gets at Matt for kind of putting Daredevil on a pedestal and like forgetting about his friends and his real life and all that. I really like that and how deep they went with the Foggy character. And yeah, overall, this season was awesome. It was super fun to watch. It's got the nice dark tone, which I really like. Yeah, I just really hope they expand this universe even farther, add some more cool like street level heroes, and I can't wait for the Defenders TV show. It's gonna, oh, I just cannot wait for all this Netflix Marvel stuff. Um, yeah, and we have some Luke Cage stuff coming out, and some more Netflix related things, so stay tuned for that. And thanks for watching my review. I'm going to give this season an A minus. It was pretty good, but I think it could have been a little bit better. But I still love the season. I love all the characters. I love all the stories and so on. But yeah, A minus. And thanks for watching my season 2 of Daredevil review. And thanks for watching again. And please stay tuned for more by subscribing to the Aussie Entertainment channel.